Good morning, students. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Oh, my headphone has not been connected. 1 minute, just 1 minute.
So am I properly audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's start the class. Now what we are discussing in the last class, in the last class we have discussed about the symmetrical components. All of you are aware of the symmetrical components. You have studied them in previous semesters also. Now we have again recapitulation was done. First the sequence components, how the sequence components are used to fit the unbalanced systems, and those function matrices to convert sequence values into the phase values and vice versa. So power, what is the power in terms of sequence components we have seen, and the impedance matrix in terms of sequence components, we have sequence impedance matrix we have found out, and what are the advantages of using this sequence components we have also discussed in the last class. Then what we have done, we have seen the how the positive sequence, negative sequence, and zero sequence networks are represented. Especially we have seen for synchronous machines and then for transformers. Okay, how the transformer can be represented, where it is delta connected or star connected with neutral, isolated with neutral grounded. All of these we have seen, and we have discussed about the phase shift in star delta transformer. Okay. On the star side, when the one current is entering from the side and leaving from the delta side, what will be the phase shift that we have seen? And that application will I will show you today. And then we have solved some problems. We have seen how zero sequence network can be drawn in presence of transformers. Okay, all of this here. Now, actually, symmetrical components are used to treat unbalanced fault. Okay, because when unbalanced fault or asymmetrical faults occur, the system becomes unbalanced. So how many asymmetrical faults are there? I told you that when a single line is connected to the ground, maybe through a fault in figure ZF, or if it is solid fault, then ZF will be equal to 0. So only when this will be called single line to ground fault. Okay, similarly, two lines can be short circuited to the ground, two lines short circuited within themselves only. Okay, so we'll say one by one. So first, single line to ground fault. See, this is the schematic diagram of single line to ground fault. What is happening? Phase A is short circuited to the ground through a fault impedance ZF. See, if in the semester you are asked, in any examination, you are asked to derive the fault current in case of single line to ground fault, we have to derive the Reynolds expression considering this fault impedance ZF. In many answers, I see that they have not considered ZF, they are directly short circuited and they are counter expression. But you have to find the general expression. So what is that here? What is shown here? It is short circuited to the ground. And for every derivation, we will consider that the system is under no load condition. No load condition means when there were no currents in any of the phases. Okay, no load means no current. Okay, but at that instant, this is getting short circuit. Now it may not happen that when it is no load condition, it will get short circuit. The fault will occur. Okay, the fault may occur, and most often they occur when the line is in operation. So what we do, initially we consider nodal condition, then we add the pre-fault current, load current, okay, to get the actual value. At the end, I will show you one problem, how to consider that load current. Okay, so for all derivations, we consider all the lines to be open, and for single line to ground fault, let us consider phase A is short circuited to the ground, not short circuited to the ground, it is connected to the ground through fault impedance Z. Okay. Now, so this is the schematic diagram. So what you can find, you will consider IB equal to 0, IC equal to 0. And what is IA? IA will be the fault current. Okay, this is actually the fault current. So the terminal voltage VA will be equal to IA into ZF. Yes, so these three equations you can easily write. Now what we do, we will express VA, IA and ZF in terms of sequence components. Okay. Now with this, in this,
Ma'am,
hello?
there is lot of noise coming from your microphone, ma'am.
Due to the fan, okay.
No, not due to the fan, ma'am. In the device only, I think there is some problem.
Okay, but we will take class with this. Anyway, let us disconnect the microphone. Okay.
Oh, sorry, am I properly audible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, if you find any problem, you please raise your voice. I have disconnected my microphone. Now,
This is clear, ma'am. Now.
okay. So, this is the this equation we have discussed about this equation in the last class. That means how to find out the sequence components when we know the phase components. Okay, actually this is IB, this is IC. Okay, actually we are using this equation. Actually we are using this equation, isn't it? We are putting just IB and IC equal to 0. So this matrix equation we can write it. Now we know that IB and IC equal to 0. Therefore, we can find out what is IA0. What is IA0? 1/3 of IA only. Okay. And what is IA1? IA1 will be also 1/3 IA. IA2 will be also 1/3 of IA. Okay. So under single line to ground fault, you can easily observe that all the sequence components are equal. IA0, IA1 and IA2 all are 1/3 of IA. So if you want to draw the sequence network, you can easily understand as the currents are all equal, they must be connected in series. Okay, this is clear because IA0 is the zero sequence current, this is positive sequence, this is negative sequence. So from this equation only, we can easily draw the sequence network. Okay, what is the sequence network? The sequence network will be like this. Okay, before that, let us discuss what will be the values. Now, what is IA1? IA1 will be IA1 will be V by 3 thrice ZF, isn't it? Because this is ZF, this ZF will become equal to thrice ZF. So equations from 2.5 and 2.7, what is IA? IA equal to thrice IA1, isn't it? IA equal to thrice IA1 and IA1 equal to VA by thrice ZF. Now VA equal to this one, VA0 plus VA1 plus VA2. What is equation number 25? 25C. This is C. Okay. So what is this VA equal to IA into ZF. What is IA? IA equal to VA by ZF. Okay. And what is IA? IA equal to thrice IA1. So from this equation and this equation, this you can get IA1 equal to VA by thrice ZF. Isn't it? Now what is VA? VA you can write in terms of sequence components. You can write this one. So what is the expression of IA1? IA1 is the expression is this one. But remember, IA is not the fault current. IA1 is not the fault current. Fault current is IA. And what is IA? It is thrice of IA1. So what will be the fault current? You can observe from the figure that the fault current is IA. Okay. And so fault current will be equal to IA will be equal to VA plus VA1 plus VA2 by ZF. Okay, because it is thrice IA1. Now we know that, IA0 equal to IA1 equal to IA2. What is IA1? The positive sequence network can be represented by a voltage source and one impedance connected in series that you have seen. Only in case of positive sequence network, the source will be there. Okay, positive sequence network, there will be one source like this. So here also the source will be E. So all the sequence components being equal, this will be Z1 plus Z2 plus Z0 plus thrice ZF. This will be clear from the how we are getting this equation. This will be clear from the sequence network. What is the sequence network? See, positive sequence network means just this one in series with this one. Negative sequence network means only Z2. Zero sequence network means only Z0, isn't it? Because you can see from here, this is positive sequence network, this is negative sequence network, only Z2. Zero sequence network similarly will be Z0. So you can find out that these are the sequence networks and why they have been connected all in series, because we have derived that IA0 equal to IA1 equal to IA2. Okay. So all are connected in series. Okay. And what is the value of IA1, IA0 or IA2? All are equal. And what is their value? Their value is, we have derived that their value is E equal to Z1 plus Z2 plus Z0 plus thrice ZF. Okay. Because this is VA0, this is VA1, this is VA2. So we can write that IA1 equal to IA2 equal to IA0, and that is equal to E angle 0 divided by Z1 plus Z2 plus Z0 divided by thrice ZF. So based on this equation, the phasor, the sequence network has been shown. So it is very simple. Now here the current is shown. Just I told you it will be thrice E by this one. Okay. Using the, and IA will be equal to IA1 plus IA2 plus IA0. It will be thrice of IA1. So as all are equal, so IA1 we have found out. So in multiplying it by 3, we can easily find out the value for the fault current. This is actually the value for the fault current. Clear? This derivation, any problem?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now let us solve one problem. This is the very simple type of fault. So what is given? You observe the problem carefully. A 30 MVA 11 kV generator is given and all the sequence impedances are provided. A single line to ground fault occurs at the generator terminus. You have to find the fault current and line to line voltages during fault conditions. And it is given. Assume generator neutral is solidly grounded and the generator is operating under no load. No load means you need not consider the pre-fault current. Okay. So solidly grounded means that ZF should be 0. And you have to find the line current for 3-phase fault also. 3-phase fault means you have already studied 3-phase fault in the last semester, isn't it? So it is a balanced fault. Balanced fault, you need not consider all these positive sequence, positive, negative, and zero sequence. It will be only the positive sequence value. Now let us consider what will be. We have to calculate everything in per phase basis. Okay. Now base voltage, you will consider this one. This will be the MVA. So base current first you find out. So base current is this one. Now ZF equal to 0 because solidly grounded, neutral is solidly grounded. Now as the fault has occurred, you can consider fault has occurred in phase A. So according to the derivation, this you will write just this equation IA1 equal to IA2 equal to IA0 equal to this one. Only thrice ZF will be absent as ZF equal to 0. Okay, in per unit basis, this will be 1 angle 0. Always consider this one as 1 angle 0. Okay, so in per unit basis, this is the fault current as all are reactances, so it will be J will come as minus J in the numerator. So what is the fault current? This is the fault current in per unit. You multiply it by the base current, you will get the fault current in ampere. Okay, this is the fault current in ampere. Now you are required to find out the terminal voltages. I think they have asked to find out the fault current line to line voltages. What will be the line to line voltages? You have to find out the sequence voltages at the fault point, VA1, VA2 and VA0. Okay, what is VA1? VA1 from here you can easily write down VA1 equal to E angle 0 minus IA1 Z1. What is VA0? VA0 equal to minus IA0 Z0. VA2 is minus IA2 Z2. Like that, you find out all the these positive, negative and zero sequence voltages in phase A. Okay. And what is the line to neutral voltages at the fault point? You can find out if you know all these quantities, you can easily find out what is VA, what is VB, what is VC. Okay. So applying the same formula, this connection matrix into VA1, VA2, VA0. Actually, there will be one equal to sign here. Please note, there is one equal to sign here. Multiplying this one by this one, you will get this matrix. Okay. So you can easily find out what is VA. You can find out VA equal to 0. Why VA equal to 0? Because it is directly short circuited to the ground. Okay. There is no ZF. So VA is coming to be 0. And VB and VC, you can easily find out from here and here. Okay. This is VB and VC. So the line voltages are in per unit you can get from this matrix equation, and if you multiply by the base voltage, what is the per phase base voltage? It is 11 by root 3. So multiply by 11 by root 3 to get these voltages in kilovolt. Okay. So you can get the values like this. Now, so what is written here? Before the fault, each line voltage was equal to 11 kV. It is seen that a fault causes the post-fault line voltage to be different from pre-fault voltages. It is not like that fault has occurred in phase A only, so only phase A will be affected. Phase B and phase C will not be affected. It is not like that. Okay, so if it is a ground fault, all the phases will be affected. If ground is not involved, then only the lines which have the fault, they will be affected. Now, for three-phase fault, you know how to find out. For three-phase fault, the fault current, you can directly use E by Z1 because there is no Z1, Z2, Z3. Actually, only Z will be there, and when in balanced condition, we consider Z to be equal to the positive sequence impedance. Okay. So positive sequence impedance you use here, and you find that the value is this one. If you multiply by the fault base current, the current is this one. So 7873 is the three-phase fault current. And what is the fault current here? Fault current is IA. It is 10496. You can see here it is greater. Single line to ground fault current is greater than the three-phase fault. Sometimes somebody may think as the fault has occurred in all the phases, the fault current will be greater in three-phase fault, but it is not always the case. We'll discuss when the single line to ground fault is severe and when three-phase fault is severe. Now this is very important. A fault occurs at terminal 2 of example 10.9. Example 10.9 means last class. I think the last problem that we discussed. 10.9. This is the figure. Okay. Oh, no, this is not the figure. 10.9 means this is the figure. Now, what is the question? Single line to ground fault occurs at bus 2. Reduce the sequence networks Okay, using Thevenin's equivalent, looking into bus 2. So where the fault has occurred? I think the fault, what type of fault? Okay, they have not given. See, the fault has occurred in bus 2. Okay, you can represent these two parallel lines in terms of a single line with half of the impedance. Okay, so the fault has occurred at this point in bus 2. So how to reduce the network? See, this is actually the sequence network. I think the positive sequence network, and this has been derived in the last class only. They have copied just from here. Actually, this one. Just what they have done, the positive and negative sequence will be same, only in negative sequence there will be no source. So 0.25 in series with 0.06, and these two will be in parallel. It will be 0.05, this is 0.07, this is 0.2, like this. So it is just the positive sequence network is just like this. Okay. Now when fault occurs at terminal 2, then what will happen? This is short circuited. Okay, so you can understand this part and this part will be in parallel, isn't it? If the fault occurs here, then this part and this part will be in parallel. What is this part? This one plus this one, that means 0.31. And if you add these two, actually 0.12 plus 0.12 plus 0.2, 0.32. So 0.32 and this how they are represented? They are represented actually 0.31 means addition of these two is 0.31 and addition of these two is 0.27, and they have kept this one separate. Okay, understood? So this part and this part actually are in parallel. Okay, so how to reduce this one? This you can reduce because you know the Thevenin's, what does the Thevenin's theorem, what are the steps for Thevenin's theorem? Thevenin's theorem, if you want to find the voltage, the current, then what you have to do? You have to open circuit those terminals. Actually, the terminals are these two and this one. So open circuit and find out the Thevenin's equivalent impedance. You know, the procedure for finding out Thevenin's equivalent impedance. Okay. So if the current enters from here, it will get divided into this path and this path with all the sources short circuited. So it will be this part in parallel with this part. So this will be the equivalent circuit. Actually, you need to draw the Thevenin's equivalent circuit. Okay. So, and this combination in parallel with this combination, that means 0.31 and 0.32. It will be almost half of 0.31 plus 0.32 divided by 2. And not 2, if we multiply, almost they are equal, so it is almost half. Exact value will be 0.157. Okay, so this is the Thevenin's equivalent of the positive sequence network. Similarly, what will be the negative sequence? Negative sequence will be same except the source will not be there. And for the zero sequence, what will be the value? For the zero sequence, again you see why it is disconnected here and all the points are connected. See the from here also you can see it is disconnected. Okay, this one is disconnected. So, and from the value you see, this is star neutral grounded, star neutral grounded. So all these will be connected. But here this will be connected, the generator will be connected for zero sequence, but this is delta, so this will not be connected. So how it will look like, as this side is star grounded, so this is connected, but this transformer is delta, star delta, isn't it? Or delta star. This is delta star. So delta star means, just 1 minute. I've cancelled it. This problem. Delta star means this will be connected, but this side will be connected to the ground. Okay. Now this point is where is the okay. Now this is 2 2 actually, the terminal 2. So if you want to find out the Thevenin's equivalent, you have to open circuit this one. The fault has occurred here only. Okay, so open circuit this one, find the impedance. What will be the impedance? This side and this side will be connected in parallel. You need not consider this 0.05. Okay, so be careful because this is open. Why this is open? This will depend upon the transformer connection. So this one and this one will be parallel. So the equivalent network will be like this. Unlike the positive and negative sequence, in positive and negative sequence both are same, except negative sequence there will be no source, but zero sequence will depend upon the transformer connection. If this connection were just star grounded, then all the sequence network will be same. Okay, but here there is difference. Understand? This Thevenin's equivalent circuit.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, am I clearly audible to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, next problem, single line to ground fault occurs at bus 2 of the examples 10.9 and 10.11. This is actually 10. Same problem. Okay. Find out the fault current. Now see, this problem actually demonstrates the phase shift also. So what you have to find out? First we have to find out fault current, then line to neutral voltages at fault point. These two are exactly same as that of the first problem, but the last part, currents and voltages at generator terminals. Here there is something that you need to understand. Now first point, find the fault current. So if you know all the values, then fault current, finding out fault current means just you use this equation you use and multiply it by 3 to get the fault current. So all the values are given. Actually, the same problem has been considered, this problem. Okay, so all the impedances are given in this problem. See, in the form of a table, all the impedances are given. So you find out the same way you find out what is the fault current. See, the procedure is exactly same. Find out IA1 equal to IA2 equal to IA0. So again, it is a solid fault. If ZF is not given, you need not consider it. So this is the value. And if we use what is IA is actually thrice of this one. Okay. So you can directly write down what is IA equal to thrice of that value. They have shown the sequence impedances also. So the fault current IA is actually equal to thrice of this one. So you can find it out. Thrice of this one, that means equal to magnitude is 8.22. So its magnitude is 8.22 in per unit. If you multiply by the base current, you will get in amperes. And the sequence voltages I have discussed in the first problem also, that E minus IA1 ZA1 will give you VA1 and minus IA2 ZA2 will give you VA2 minus IA0 ZA0 will give you VA0. As all IA1, IA2 and IA0 are equal, these values are equal. So once you know VA1, VA2 and VA0, we can easily find out the phase voltages. Actually, first you have to find out all the sequence values, then you have to go for the phase values. Okay, using the connection matrix. Now line to neutral voltages at the fault points are VA, VB and VC. So you multiply it by the phase value 220 by root 3, you will get the values in volts. These are the values in per unit. So to get the values in volts, you have to multiply it by the base voltage. Now this part you please understand carefully. What they have asked, see when that is fault at, see the figure first, when that is fault at terminal 2, that is fault means single line to ground fault. So phase A is connected to the ground. So what will happen? Some phase B and C, they are open. Okay, they are, because we are considering no load condition. Because I think here they have specifically mentioned. I don't know whether they have specifically mentioned. Even if they have not mentioned, okay, they have not mentioned. But in the previous problem, they have mentioned it is under no load condition. Okay, generator is operating at no load condition. Even if it is not mentioned, you consider generator to be operating under no load condition. So, if it is operating under no load condition, IB and IC are 0, but as soon as it is single line to ground fault occurs, there will be some current IA. Now, that fault current IA that is supplied by this generator and by this generator also. Okay, this generator current is going in this direction and going to the ground. This current is going in this direction and going to the ground. Only for phase A I am talking about. Okay. So what will happen? The contribution will come from both the generators. The fault current will be contributed by both the generators. Okay. First, let us find out what is the fault current here contributed by G1 and what is the part of the fault current contributed by G2. At this bus 2, remember, at this bus 2, what is the current contributed by G1 and what is the current contributed by G2? It may not happen that whatever current is contributed by G1, that will come directly from G1 because there is some phase shift here. There will be some phase shift here. You have to consider that one also. Okay, suppose the current here is entering, say, IG2, but that current magnitude will be equal, but that current phase will not be equal to that current supplied by G1 because this is delta star. There will be some phase shift here. Okay, that will not be the case here. Here you can directly write what is the current entering here. That current is supplied by G2. So first, let us consider what is the current supplied by this G1. The component of I1 flowing from G1 to bus G2. Okay, the component of I1 means positive sequence. So what is the positive sequence? You know the total fault current is minus J2.74 that we have already derived. And contributed by G1, that is you have to, oh, I have not discussed. Okay, sorry. Let us discuss about generator G2 first. Why we are discussing generator G2? Because there is no phase shift. So we are discussing first generator G2. The component of I1 flowing towards bus 2 for generator G2. Now before going to this part, you need to show the sequence diagram because we have drawn the positive, negative and zero sequence separately, but we have not shown the sequence diagram. How will be the sequence diagram? All the sequence networks will be connected in series. Okay, the sequence networks we have shown here, they will be connected in series. Okay, how they are connected? The fault has occurred here. So the connection will be from terminal 2. The positive sequence network from terminal 2 will be connected to the negative sequence network. That will be connected to the zero sequence network. Okay, so find out how the sequence network looks like. It looks like this one. Understand, the fault has occurred here. So this point, actually the fault has occurred from here to here. This is the reference. So reference, it is connected here again to the point 2. Why point 2? Because fault has occurred here from here to here. You can see that positive and negative sequence networks are exactly same except source is not there. But for zero sequence, that we have already seen. What is the zero sequence? It is just like this. So the zero sequence network is drawn here. Okay, and all are connected in series. From where the series connection will begin, one point is the reference line. That is okay. And another point will be the fault point. Understand why this type of sequence network and as it is a single line to run for, all the networks are connected in series. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So once you draw this figure, then it will be very easy for you. See, actually what is the component of the current? If it is IA1, the current here is actually IA1. If it is IA1, what is the part of the IA1 supplied by G2? It is IA1 into these two are in parallel. This set and this set are in parallel. So what is the current in this coming from G2? It will be total current into 0.25 plus 0.06. That means 0.31 divided by 0.31 divided 0.31 plus 0.32. Isn't it just the parallel formula? So it is actually this one. Okay, total IA1 divided by this one, the current division rule. Simply the current division rule. Okay, in the similar way, you can find out what is the current coming from G2 at this point. It will be the otherwise. In the numerator, it will be 0.032. That means this impedance, reactance, and in the denominator, it will be this one. Or just to subtract this 1.35 from 2.74. Okay. Now the component of IA2 will be same because what will be the component of IA2? Why it is different? This is 1.35. The component of IA2 for bus 2 from generator is also, it is equal. Yes, it should be equal because all the values are equal. Okay. Now the component of IA0 flowing towards the point 2. So from here it will be different because here this has been disconnected. So it will be in the numerator instead of 0.31, it will be only 0.06. Okay, and in the denominator it will be 0.32 plus 0.06 because that 0.05 will not come into the picture. Okay, understand? So in the numerator it is 0.06, in the denominator it will be all summation of all the reactances. So that 0.05 is absent. So we have found out all the currents that is contributed to the fault current by the generator G2. And as I told you that whatever current is coming at this point from this side, that will be the current supplied by G2. Okay, that current directly is coming here because there is no phase shift here. Now let us go to this next part. In the next part, you will have to find separately. See, for G2. Okay, then they have found out the line currents at terminals of generator G2, IA, IB, IC. You know what is IA1, what is IA2, what is IA0. This is actually IA0, I think. This is IA1, this is IA2. Once you know IA0, IA1, IA2, you can easily find out the phase values. That means IA, IB, and IC contributed by the generator G2. This is actually the currents contributed by the generator G2. And multiplying by the base current, you can easily find out the values, okay, in ampere. Now then, the sequence terminal voltages of generator G2 are also same, just the same thing, okay. So, VA0, VA1 and VA2, VA1 you have to take the source, okay. Up to this, it is just like the previous one, but this is only for generator G2. Now the line to neutral voltage, okay, line to neutral voltages they have found out. So VA, VB, VC. So once you know VA1, VA0 and VA2, you can easily find out what is VA, VB and VC. Okay, then multiply it by the base value to find this one. Now about generator G1. See, initially it will, because from this network only we can find out what is the current supplied by from generator current supply contributed at point 2 by generator G1. That does not mean that current is flowing from the terminal of G1. That is flowing at terminal 2. So what will be the current contributed by G1? It will be same. In the numerator total current into this value, this is 0.32 divided by 0.31 plus 0.32. Okay, so this will be, you will be getting this one exactly same. See, 0.32 by this one, and the negative sequence value will also be same. Okay, but for as it is a delta star transformer, there will be some phase shift. Let us again go through the phase shift problem, then it will be easier for you to understand. What we found in the last class, we found that for delta star transformer, delta side means the small letters. This is actually delta. Yeah, delta star transformation. We have found that this is actually the delta side. The star side is leading by 30 degrees. When the current is flowing from the delta side to the star side, then star side parameter, that means a secondary, if we consider the secondary to the star side, that star side parameter is leading from the delta side by 30 degrees. And it will be vice versa. If the current flows from the star side to the delta side, it was flowing from the delta side to the star side. Yes, it was delta to star. So there will be phase shift of 30 degrees. So if it flows from the star side to the delta side, the phase shift will be minus 30 degrees. So here, from where it is flowing, let us see the figure only. The figure was This one, delta start. So it is coming from the delta side to the star side. But we have found out the parameters of the star side. This is, sorry, the problem was this one. Problem was this one. We have found out all the parameters with respect to point 2 because the fault has occurred here. So we have found out what is the current contributed by G1 at this point. Now you can understand, if you want to find the current here, the magnitude will be same, but there will be phase shift from star side to the delta side. Be careful, okay? Because we have found out the parameters, the current at point 2, coming from this side and coming from this side. This side there is no problem, but it is coming from this side, but this is at terminal 2. When you are finding out the current, same currents with respect to terminals of G1, you have to transfer from the star side to the delta side. So it is just the opposite. Previously it was from delta to star, I think. Yes, it is to delta to star. So the phase shift was 30 degree. Now it is from start to delta. Okay. Now it is from start to delta. So phase shift will be minus 30 degree, and that too for positive sequence. Okay. So phase shift is minus 30 degree. So whatever value you get at bus 2, that value, if you want to find out at the terminus of G1, the magnitude will remain same, but there will be phase shift of minus 30 degree. Okay. Because we are talking about the positive sequence only. This is only for the positive sequence. These things are only for the positive sequence. Okay. And for the negative sequence, if you have read, you can understand. I don't know whether you have read it. For the positive sequence, it is plus 30 degree. If you are to find out for the negative sequence, it will be minus 30 degree. Similarly, here for positive sequence, you have to subtract this minus 30 degree because there will be 30 degree lagging. From deltas to star, if it is 30 degree leading, from start to delta conversion, it will be 30 degree lagging for positive sequence. And for positive sequence, if it is 30 degree lagging, for negative sequence, it will be 30 degree leading. So whatever value you are getting for negative sequence, you have got this value. See, for negative sequence, what are the values you have got? Yes, this is negative, positive actually same. This is IA1, that is equal to IA2. So both are same. So you have to just subtract with respect to this one. You have to just add 30 degree and subtract 30 degree. Okay. So you can easily find out what is the positive sequence and the, sorry, not positive, yes, positive sequence and negative sequence current values at the delta side of the network. Delta side or star side. I think at this you are converting from, yes, delta side. You are converting from star side to delta side. You know the star side, you have calculated the star side. Now you are finding out what are the values in the delta side. The values in the delta side will be same as the generator terminal. That means the bus 1. Okay. So this part have you understood? Because if you write that it has been asked that what is the current at the generator terminal. See, what is the question? The question is the currents and voltages at generator terminals. Okay, so you have to find out the currents and voltages at the generator terminals. If the question were that find out the current contributed by the generator G1, then you need not consider this phase shift. But you have to find out the currents at the generated terminals. So the positive sequence current will be this one, negative sequence current will be this one, and the zero sequence network is open at bus 1. See from here, why the zero sequence current is 0? Because this is the generator terminal. Generator terminal is actually a terminal 1, isn't it? Generator terminal means a terminal 1, but this is disconnected. Why? Because it is delta connection. So there is a break. So no zero sequence current can flow from the generator terminals. Understand? So what will be the zero sequence current, so they have written that zero sequence network is open at bus 1, hence no zero sequence current can flow from generator G1. Okay, therefore this is 0. This is for the generator terminal, G1 terminals. Okay, now the rest of the part is very simple. You know how to find out. You find the base current and then you multiply the per unit values by the base current and find out the phase values. Okay, and they have found out that IC equal to 0. So you just find that will be from this equation only. And what will be the sequence, the terminal voltages? It will be VA0, VA1 and VA2. Okay, because you have already considered VA1 and VA2 by phase shifting due to transformer. So here it is already incorporated. So find out this one. And this is actually the phase sequence voltages at terminal of the fault point. Okay, and to account for the phase shift, you have to consider the phase shift at the generator terminals, and that will be this one. So find out the, because here you see they have not used the phase shift here. They have you first found out the, actually this is the terminal voltages of the generator without the phase shift, because here only to the same, you see plus 30 minus 30 has not been incorporated, then they have incorporated this one and found it. Okay, so actually they have found it here. Actually first they have found out the terminal voltages here, then they have incorporated the phase shift and found it here. So this is a typical problem where the phase shift has been used and multiplying by the phase voltage, they have found out the values in volts. Is it clear? I can understand it will not be very clear just listening and observing. You have to sit with a pen and paper and then you will be able to understand. Okay. So if you find any problem, you can contact me.
Okay,
So
ma'am.
shall I proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The next problem is very simple. Next problem you see. Next problem, where the fault has occurred, the generator is connected to a overhead line. Okay. And single line to ground fault occurs at the remote end of the line. That means fault is occurring after the line. Okay. So generator, then transmission line, then the fault is occurring. So you have to consider, to find the fault current, you have to consider the impedances of the generator and the transmission line. They are connected in series, obviously. So what you have to do, you have to just add this one. What is the total positive sequence impedance? It will be this 0.18 plus, you have to convert this one into per unit, or you have to convert this one into ohms. Okay, any one you can do. It is better to convert I think this will be per unit. This is wrongly written. This is not in ohms. See, this is in per unit. So this will be, and divided by the base value. This is also in per unit. So please note it down. Okay, you note the slide number 8 and note it down that this will be in per unit. Okay, so this is not in ohms. Okay, I will, while giving, it is not possible to make the corrections in PDF. I will just highlight it so that you can understand. Okay, so just added the sequence impedances of the generator and the line, and they found out the total sequence impedances. And what is the fault current? Is just the formula. Okay, so as it is solidly grounded, so you need to consider ZF. So this is the fault current, and multiplying the fault current by the base current, you can get the fault current. So this problem is very simple. Okay, you have to understand, you have to observe. Sometimes if it is asked, if this question is given, problem is given, and if it is mentioned that single line to ground fault occurs at the terminals of the generator, then you need not use these line values. Understand? Okay, just to confuse you, these values may be given. So you have to be very careful about the fault point, because you know that this sequence diagram will completely change if the fault point changes. If the fault occurs at terminal 4 or terminal 3, this will be connected here and whole system will change. All the values will be changed. So it is very important to find out the sequence, what the fault, to note where the fault has occurred. Now, I told you that sometimes single line to ground fault is more severe. Sometimes three-phase fault is more severe. Why we are comparing single line to ground fault and the three-phase fault? Because we have studied three-phase fault in the last semester, and we are studying this single line to ground fault in this semester. Okay. Now let us do a comparative assessment of these two types of the fault currents in these two types of faults. Now for three-phase fault, this equation is simple. Simply E by Jx1. Actually E by Jx and x equal to x1 for balanced condition. And for single line to ground fault, we will consider the solid fault. Okay. So if the fault impedance increases, then obviously the magnitude of current will decrease. Okay. So solid fault is most severe type of fault. So we will not consider any ZF. So this is the positive sequence, negative sequence, and zero sequence. Then this is the fault current expression in case of single line to ground fault. Now, see, faults at generator terminals with generator neutral solidly grounded. For a generator, what is the condition for a generator? Generally, the zero sequence reactance is very less compared to this one, positive sequence and negative sequence. And this positive and negative sequence impedances, reactances are equal. So, some approximation is done. We are neglecting this one, and we are, instead of writing x1 plus x2, we are writing twice x1. So, the expression is coming 3 by J2x1. Okay, and what is 3 by 2? 3 by 2 is 1.5. So what is single line to ground fault? It is 1.5 E by Jx1. So here you can see it is E by Jx1, and here it is becoming 1.5 E by Jx1. So can you find it out that it is 1.5 times greater than this single three-phase fault? But under what condition? When the neutral is solidly grounded. Okay. So when the neutral is solidly grounded, then this single line to ground fault is more severe for a generator, because these are for generators only. This zero sequence can be neglected for a generator, but for transmission lines it is very high. Okay, you cannot neglect it. So this is for the generator, and it is for the when it is solidly grounded. Now, so we are then find out under what condition this single line to ground fault will be more and more severe, and under what condition the single line to ground fault will be less severe. Okay, that will depend. It is always more severe if the neutral is solidly grounded. That means if there is no XN. Okay, neutral impedance is considered as XN. If there is no XN, it is always severe. But if there is XN, then we have to add with this one thrice XN. Whereas in three-phase fault, we need not consider all these things, because this XN will come only for the zero sequence component. Here there is no zero sequence or negative sequence. So it will remain same. But this expression will change to this expression. Only you have to add thrice XN, the neutral impedance. So we have to find out the neutral impedance when these two currents will be same. So when xn equal to 1/3 x1 minus x0 is 3, this xn equal to 1/3 means 3 will cancel, x1 minus x0 will cancel. We have not neglected here x0. x0 cancel, only x1 is remaining. So twice x1 plus x2, and for generator x2 equal to x1, so thrice x1. So 3 will cancel. So Ia will be equal to E by x1. So under this condition, this three-phase fault current and the single line to ground fault current will be equal. So when xn equal to this one, these two currents will be equal. Okay, they will be equally severe. Now, when the xn is less than this one, then you can understand when this value decreases, this will be more severe. So line currents, if xn is less than this one, single line to ground fault will be more severe. And when xn is greater than this one, this will be less severe, and in that case, three-phase fault current will be more severe. Isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Understood? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All the boys are sleeping.
No, ma'am.
Or today it's is it Shreya?
Yes, ma'am.
It is Shreya's duty to response.
No, ma'am, not like that.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so you go through it. Okay, I think you will be able to understand. Now this is for generator. For transmission lines, this zero sequence reactance is much greater than X1. So you can easily understand if this X0 is much greater than this X1, then this denominator being very large, this will automatically be lower than this one. Okay, though thrice is present here, but it is very much greater. So this three-phase to ground fault will be less than single phase to ground fault will be less than the three-phase fault. So in that case, and the fault on a line sufficiently away from the generator terminus, why it is written? Because if it occurs at the generator terminus, then only it will be a fault. Only the impedances of the generator will come. That line impedance will not come. This will not come. So the fault must occur sufficiently away from the generator so that considerable amount of line reactance comes into the picture. Okay. So in that case, three-phase fault current is more than the current for a single line to ground fault. Okay. So single line to ground fault is less severe when the fault occurs at one end of the transmission line. Okay, far away from the generator. Clear? Now, let us cover another fault because this is very short. Then I'll be able to cover the fault in the next class. Line to line fault. This is non-ground fault, okay, or ungrounded fault. The other two, this one you have seen, line to ground fault is grounded fault. Another fault is the double line to ground fault. See, this is line to ground line fault means this phase B and phase C is short circuited by a fault impedance of ZF. If this one is short circuit connected to the ground, then it becomes double line to ground fault. Okay, but this is not the ground fault. Okay, so what will happen? The ground is not coming into the picture, and if the ground is not coming into the picture, it is obvious that the zero sequence components will be zero. We'll see from the derivations only. We need not consider it. The derivations will show that the zero sequence components are zero. Now this is the network, you can easily understand. So what will be IB? Whatever IB is coming from here, that is going into IC. So if we consider IB and IC both outgoing, then IB will be equal to minus IC, isn't it? So IB will be equal to minus IC.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
so IA equal to 0, no fault, IB equal to minus IC. What is VB? VB will be VC plus IA and IB into ZF. Okay, that VC will be IB plus ZF into, VB plus or VB equal to VA plus IB into ZF. Now, this is the original equation. Instead of IA, IB, IC, what we are writing for IA, we are putting it 0. IB, we are putting it as IB. IC, we are putting it as minus IB. Okay. So what is IA0? IA0 is 0 plus IB minus IB. So automatically it is becoming 0. What is IA1? IA1 and IA2 you can find out. They are IA2 will be equal to minus of IA1. Because what is IA1? It will be A plus A minus S square IB. Here also you will find IA2 as A minus S square IB. So this, minus of that one. IA2 will be equal to minus IA1. That is obvious from this matrix equation. Now, what if now you use the third equation, what is the third equation? VB equal to VC plus ZF into IB. What is VB? VB, you know, in terms of sequence components, VA0 plus S square VA1 plus AVA2. Though it is very hazy, but you can easily write in terms of sequence components. What is VC? VC will be this one, VA0 plus AV1 plus S square VA2. Okay, instead of S square, there will be A. Instead of A, there will be S square. Only this difference. ZF, you keep it as ZF, and IB, you write it down. Just you have written VB in terms of sequence components, you write IB also in terms of sequence components. Okay. Now you put IA0 equal to 0, you put IA2 equal to minus IA1 in this equation only. Okay. So if IA0 equal to 0 and you put IA2 equal to minus IA1, you will be arriving at this equation. You do it and you find out. You will be arriving in this equation where there is no IA0 or IA2. Why? IA0 is 0 and you have replaced IA2 by IA1, by minus IA1. So the terms will contain only IA1. So this is the equation you will be arriving at, and simplifying, that is A plus S square plus A, that is 1 plus A plus S square, that will be equal to 0. You can easily find out this equation. You will arrive to this equation because S square minus A will cancel out. Okay, so this equation will be coming. Okay, just by rearranging, you need not do any apply any other mathematics. Just by rearranging and simplifying and basic knowledge, 1 plus A plus S square equal to minus 1, you can easily 1 plus A plus S square equal to 0, you can easily arrive at this equation. So what is the equation? Equation is VA1 equal to VA2 plus IA1 ZF. So the sequence network, the connection of sequence network will depend upon these three equations, this equation, and this equation. Okay. So as IA0 equal to 0, can you find out that this is not connected, this is isolated? Because this is IA0 equal to 0, therefore this network will not be connected. Positive and negative sequence networks will be connected, but how? Because IA1 here is not equal to IA2, but it is equal to minus IA1 equal to minus IA2. So if the current here is IA1, the current here will be IA2, so that IA1 plus IA2 equal to 0. One leaving and they are both flowing through ZF, okay, from the terminal. So connection is like this. Then only you can write IA1 equal to minus IA2. Isn't it? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if we consider it positive, so it is in series connection, what is one positive, one negative, like that. But here just the opposite, because IA1 is not equal to IA2, IA1 equal to minus IA2. So these are connected in this way, and so first two equations are satisfied, and VA1 equal to VA2 plus IA1 ZF. So VA1 equal to VA2 plus IA1 into ZF. Okay. So this voltage is actually this voltage plus this voltage drop. So actually this equation is also satisfied. So in line-to-line fault, the zero sequence network is not connected. So zero sequence current cannot flow. Okay, because the fault is not grounded fault. Now you have to find out. You have found out what is IA1. Okay, what is IA1? IA1 you have found out. IA1 equal to E by Z1 plus Z2 plus ZF. Isn't it? It is actually Z1 plus Z2 plus ZF. All the three impedances, and the source is this one. So this is IA1. But it is not the fault current. Fault current is IB or minus IC. This is the fault current. IB and IC. IB equal to minus IC. So you find out either IB or IC. So IB is the fault current. So if you want to find the fault current, that will be IB. And you know the formula for IB. IA0 plus S square IA1 plus AIA2. So IA0 is 0. S square IA1 plus AIA2. You will get S square minus AIA1. And S square minus A. You know what is the value of S square? 1 angle to 40 degrees. Okay, what is A? 1 angle 120 degrees. So you use your knowledge and find out S square minus A is equal to root 3 minus j root 3. Okay. And you just substitute instead of IA1 E by this one. And a square minus a is value is minus j root 3. Okay. So I think you can find it out and you have to remember this value. Okay. What is the fault current in case of line to line fault? Now, a very simple example, all the values are given in the previous example. You need to just substitute Z1, Z2, Z0 is also given, but you need not use Z0, and for solid fault, ZF equal to 0. So just substitute IA1 from this equation, E by Z1 plus Z2. You can find out what is IA2, this one. So what will be IA? IA will be equal to 0 because you have considered no fault current. Even from the equation also you can find out. So I equal to 0. What is IB and IC? You can find out from this expression. IB you can find out from here, and IC will be just minus of IB. See? IC will be just minus of IC. Here only magnitude is given. See, IB is 180 degree. This is 0 degree. Okay. And here only magnitude is given. Now you find out what is VA1 and VA2. Then you write down all these equations. Okay. And multiplying by the base values, you can find out the values in the volts. Okay. So though the photocopy is not very clear, but you prepare your own notes. Okay. Or read from any other book. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Is it clear? Then I will end up my class here only.
Yes, ma'am, it's clear.
So please go through it. We'll solve more problems in the next class. So next class means again next Wednesday. Okay. So
Okay,
hope
ma'am.
you have received my class notes.
Yes, ma'am. We have received your class notes.
Okay. And recording also I have shared. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Last day you shared.
Okay. Okay. Then thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.